Hello, this is a help video for violinists learning a piece called The Leaving of Liverpool. It's on the new Trinity Violin Grade 2 syllabus and it's on page 9 of the violin part. There are a couple of things we're going to look at first. One is the key signature. There are two sharps. That means that there are F sharps and C sharps in it all the way through, and that means that on the D string and on the A string your second left hand finger will not need to be drawn back or squished on either string. All of the notes that you play in this piece are on the D string and the A string, but that does include your fourth finger, sometimes on both strings. I'm going to divide this piece into four sections. Section A goes up to the third last note on the second line. Section B goes up to the third last note on the third line. And section C goes up to the fourth last note on the fourth line. Section D will go on from there to the end. In an exam you wouldn't do the repeat, so we're going to ignore the first time bar because that's the repeating bar, and we're going to go on to the finishing bar, which is the second time bar. Your part, as this is a duet, is only the top line of each pair. Don't worry about the smaller notes at the bottom. Sections A, B and D are very similar, so we're going to start off with those three and leave section C to the last. Section A, we're going to divide it into two halves. The first bit goes the things that you'll need to think about there are that you start on an up bow, think about the slurred notes and the dotted rhythms. So when you play that first bit, it will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, like that. Count the second half of section A is a little bit easier than that. Again, you'll be starting on an up bow. When you're happy with that, join the two halves of section A together. It will go like this. 1, 2, 3. The first two notes are different, and you're going to need to start on a fourth finger A on the D string. Other than that, the first half of section B is very much the same. You can play the fourth note of section B with a fourth finger if you want, or you can play it as an open A. It doesn't matter. For the ending of section B, you're again going to need to use a fourth finger A in the middle of it. So again, to avoid having to cross your strings in the middle of a slur. Think ahead about your fourth finger so that it's ready for you when you need it. There's also a dotted rhythm near the end of section B. Watch out for that. Count it the same way as you did in the first section. Here, a section A and section B, one after the other. 1, 2, 3. skip over section C for the moment and go straight on to section D, because section D is very similar to section B. There are a few differences, the first of them being that you're starting with 3 quavers instead of just 2 slurred quavers. In this case, they're separate bows. So have a go through section D, look out for the differences. After 3, 1, 2, 3. Some of the rhythms are different. You will need to use a 4th finger in some places. It is marked where you're really supposed to use a 4th finger. If it's not marked, then you can make the decision about whether it's best to stay with that 4th finger or whether it's best to change strings to an open string. Usually it's best to stay on the same string as you've been on or the same string as you're going to, but sometimes it can be your decision about what you feel is best there. Now we're going on to section C. In section C you need to use a 4th finger on the A string to give you an E. It's much better to use that 4th fingered E than to use an open E, because it stands out very much if you play it as an open string, and going C sharp, D, E sounds much more fluent when you play it. So the first bit goes like this. There's that slurred pair of quavers at the beginning and also the dotted rhythm. After that it will go the same rhythm. Watch out for your 4th finger, think ahead, have it ready and not tucked away like that. So the beginning of section C will go like this. 1, 2, 3. And then the ending of section C, fairly straightforward again. Like that. So putting section C together, it will go like this. 1, 2, 3. All of these sections start on an up bow. All of them will end on a down bow as well. Some of the bowing is written in on the music, some of it is left for you to work out. Usually, if you're starting on a single bow near the end of a bar, you will be starting on an up bow. So here's the Leaving of Liverpool all the way through with an accompaniment. There is a short introduction.